Presented by the Association of Military Banks of America, along with Angility and Wallman Optical.
What I looked at is just the underbelly figures, how many children feel cyberbullying and what to do about it. I don't know how exact these are, but I did live this. In the early onset of cybercrime, when I was an Air Force OSI agent, one of the most common crimes was trying to get teenagers to travel and meet people. No matter what, obviously, the FBI and everybody recommends you never, ever travel to meet someone you met online without firearms and a suit of armor. No, I'm just kidding. I had lots of friends. But I'm sure there's exceptions to every rule, but I mean, I would draw the line for anybody under a certain age. But some of the stats that we saw were that at this point they were saying about 10% of all youths, meaning under 18, receive a solicitation online, and this is 3 years old. So 10%-ish, 3 years old. My gut tells me it's over 25%, because a lot of times, even when I just open up Skype, I'll get a message and I just like, who is this? There's bots or robots or automatic programs out there constantly pinging people in Skype and other types of protocols to lure teenagers, quite frankly, into doing something, or getting involved in some kind of groups. 27%, and this is let me look at the exact year this came out, 27 in 2008, 27% solicitors asked youths for sexual photographs of themselves. So that's 10% you got asked, and then 27% of the time if you fell for the bait. And then I'll just leave you with another stat that shocked me and depressed me. Mayors are doing sexting, I think, or mayor candidates are doing it. And then nearly 15% of our high school students are sexting right now, which to me shows pretty interesting judgment, maybe called poor judgment, because the minute you do that, that picture can go anywhere. And you're relying on magic to keep it from doing so.
You have young children.
I just got depressed.
Yeah, but you do have young children.
I may or may not have young children. Following my own security rules. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I do.
If you had young children.
If I did, hypothetically.
Tell us about the education and training regimen you would put young children through to make them cyber smart and cyber safe. And I mean, begin at when they first start swiping and all the way up to the teen years.
Well, the most important rule they will not understand till maybe 7 or 8, but the absolute most important rule is don't believe a damn thing you read on the internet, period, end of story. And the fact that people think the internet can influence voting and all this other stuff, okay, that's great, but the reality is that's the #1 lesson for your kids. Just because it's on the internet doesn't make it true. And if you have to lighten it, say, believe the internet as much as you believe the graffiti in a rest area on Route 95, because that's the unfortunate reality for now, until we figure out how to have non-anonymous internet. So that's rule #1. And then don't believe what people say. I hate to say it. I don't want to have a paranoid environment, but it's the safest thing for your kids, is that when they're sharing with their friends at school, they fully know each other's Facebook logins. They know who they are before they start sharing. There is no random invite hurled over the fence and you just go, okay, you can look at my Facebook wall, or okay, you can look at this. Now, I know your children will use Facebook because it's like 80% now do. So I can give you another tip. Your children probably don't want you to see their Facebook page. If that's in fact the case, I had a friend who started a Facebook page for his dog, and all of his daughter's friends loved the dog, so they friended the dog's Facebook page, giving the parent all the access. Genius. So I pass you that tidbit. Start a Facebook page for your dog, get lots of cute pictures on it. That's what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I better start now, get the backdrop believable by the time my kids are old enough to believe it. But that's unfortunately rule #1. After that, I do believe the following. You want to keep your machine separate from your kids, because as your kids online game, and they will, that's one of the easiest ways to infect a computer. Russian organized crime figured this out a long time ago. And so if they're downloading games from the internet, whether they're paying for them or not, they're compromising that machine. And I don't know, you're not going to be able to prevent that from occurring, I don't think. You will want to keep that machine with the most current antivirus you can. It'll update itself. It can easily be circumvented. But look into, for those of you a little bit more advanced, think about the firewalls, because most products right now are antivirus and firewall, and you can make a PC only do web traffic. which is pretty good, because the bad guys want to do more than that, quite frankly. But they can just go to that protocol. But that'll also help. And then again, at the wireless access point, you have a crimp. You have an ability to monitor your children. They'll delete what they're doing on their computers, right? They'll say, remove my browsing history, and remove the cookies or the little crumbs that are left behind from the websites I visit. But they don't let them get to your wireless access. Unfortunately, most of you will say, oh, I can't get the VCR to work, but my kids can do it for me. This is one place where you don't want to punt. You're going to want to make sure you control that. Because at the wireless access point, you have surreptitious knowledge of everything people are doing in your home. I wouldn't give that up.
Good idea, even amongst adults, to have one machine for serious business and the other machine for fun?
Absolutely, absolutely. Separate them.